With 2020 behind us, TV companies are starting to look forward to releasing their new 2021 models. Like everything this year, CES 2021 was held virtually, and we've already heard a few things about what's to come. But with all this hype that comes with new tech, should you wait for their release, or are you better off with a 2020 model at a discount? Hey, I'm Alex, a tester at ratings.com, where we help you find the best products for your needs. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for the latest videos, and check out our website for more reviews and articles. Some manufacturers tease their new technologies, such as Samsung, who's revealed micro-LED models, or LG's new QNED lineup. Some companies don't give out much information, like Vizio. Generally, Vizio has released their models later in the TV season, and in 2020 they were officially labeled as 2021 models. There is some uncertainty here, since it's possible that they may not release new models this year. Let's get started by looking towards what you can expect from the new TVs this year. Keep in mind that companies at CES often start the year with a lot of models, but not all of them make it to market. We'll also be talking about US models, so availability and model codes may be different depending on your country. We'll start by talking about Samsung and what we can expect to see from them. They've announced their micro LEDs, and you can take your pick from 75 all the way to 150-inch 4K displays. Micro LED is similar to OLED, as it's a self-emitting technology, but it shouldn't suffer from burn-in, and it should be able to get much brighter. We expect these TVs to look stunning, but it's already looking like you'll be paying a massive price for it. Many of these models are more for commercial use than they are for the average consumer. On the other hand, the new premium Neo QLED TVs are looking good. These TVs combine mini LED and Samsung's quantum dot technology to really make the images pop. This technology will be made available on their 8K series as well as their 4K models, the QN95A, QN90A, and QN85A. The Q80A and lower will be using their regular quantum dot technology. Thankfully, their naming conventions are remaining the same as last year, but with the suffix A instead of T, so we'll be able to have some direct comparisons once they're available. Samsung will also be releasing 2021 models of their lifestyle TVs, such as the Zero, the Serif, the Terrace, and the Frame. We expect these models to perform similarly to their 2020 counterparts. In general, it looks like Samsung is taking what works for them and doubling down on it. The QLED series looked good in 2020, and we hope to see a couple of improvements, such as HDMI 2.1 full bandwidth support, as well as improved brightness and contrast. Now on to Sony, who have recently released their 2021 lineup, and it's similar to their 2020 lineup. They have 2 4K OLEDs and 4 4K LED TVs, as well as their flagship 8K LED model, the Z9J. In terms of their lineup, they've got the X850J coming back and replacing 2019's X850G. All models should have HDMI 2.1, VRR, and ALLM support, except for the new entry-level X80J, which will have HDMI 2.0. This is an upgrade after only the X900H had HDMI 2.1 support in 2020. That said, it still hasn't received any VRR support, which is unfortunate. Unlike their competitors, it doesn't seem like Sony will be using mini LEDs in their models. They've also announced they're replacing Android TV with the updated Google TV in 2021. Sony is using the same naming convention as they've had in the past few years. Their OLEDs start with A, the premium 8K starts with Z, and the other 4K LEDs start with X. The suffix at the end of each model code is J in 2021, after it was H in 2020. I'm happy to see that Sony seems to be taking VRR and some more gaming features more seriously, which hopefully means we'll get full bandwidth HDMI 2.1 ports. Maybe once PS5s become more widely available, they'll also have a well-priced 2021 model that will support all the gaming features we need, such as VRR, ALLM, and high refresh rates with a 4K resolution. LG also announced their 2021 OLED lineup at CES, as well as their high-end LEDs. They've expanded their OLED selection this year and introduced a new 4K 83-inch model. They'll also make their 48-inch size OLEDs available with 2 other models, while in 2020, the LG C10 was the only one available in 48 inches. LG is also releasing the A1, which is an entry-level 60Hz OLED display with no HDMI 2.1 or VRR. LG's 2021 models also include HDMI 2.1 support on all the HDMI inputs, except the A1 OLED, but we're not sure if they're full bandwidth ports or not yet. They've also introduced a new LED lineup which will use mini LED technology. Labeled as their QNED lineup, these TVs are expected to compete with Samsung's QLED lineup, which could explain the naming similarities. Unfortunately, for now, we don't know much about LG's entry-level TVs yet, but we expect the Nano series to perform similarly to the 2020 models. We can only hope for a few HDMI 2.1 ports for a budget gaming TV for your PS5 or Xbox Series X. We're expecting that the OLED will be a bit brighter than the 2020 models, as well as having full bandwidth HDMI 2.1. And with the smaller screen sizes, there might be some good options for PC gamers to get in on the OLED game, if the price is right. TCL has also released some news on their new TVs at CES 2021. They're coming out with their first 8K models called the XL Collection that features 3 85-inch models. The 2021 6 Series will also have an 8K resolution, but they've said that last year's 2020 6 Series, which has a 4K resolution, will still be available in 2021. They've announced a new mini LED technology called OD0, which is trying to make ultra-thin mini LED panels, but it's unclear which models will have it. We're also not quite sure what to expect from them, since it seems to be a little bit different than what LG and Samsung have discussed. Lastly, they've announced that only some TVs will feature the new Google TV, but it's also unknown which of the models will include it. We don't know anything yet about the mid-range and entry-level 2021 models, but we're expecting it to be similar to the models from 2020. Again, we're hoping to see some HDMI 2.1 so we can recommend it for gamers. Otherwise, we're hoping to see more of TCL with wider color gamuts and more gaming features. Hisense unfortunately has not yet released any models or major information on their coming TVs for 2021. This year, they did have 2 quantum dot TVs in the H9G and H8G, but Hisense have said that they would release more details closer to release, so we look forward to seeing what they bring to the table. We're pretty excited for this year's TVs. There's some really high-end fancy TVs coming, as well as some high-quality mainstream models. Now, for the big question, should you wait? Well, there's a few things to think about. The TV market is always changing, but year to year, improvements are generally marginal rather than any real game changers. If you can wait, you'll always get a better TV at a lower price. You can expect around 6 months of wait after release until the prices of the 2021 models are more in line with the 2021s currently. If you don't mind paying a premium, you'll be able to enjoy the new features of these TVs early. There's also a big focus on HDMI 2.1 and gaming features. If you're not a gamer, it probably doesn't matter to you, but for gamers it is becoming essential, especially for the new consoles. While we're hoping for full bandwidth ports, there are already TVs like the Sony X900H or the Samsung QADT, but there are missing features or issues with them, such as VRR. If you can wait, you will get a better selection and a lower price in the long run. Another area where there's been more focus is in 8K models. In our testing, they've all had downsides, whether it's bugs with some features, difficulty in handling 8K resolutions, or bugs in 4K. However, it is nice to see these higher resolutions come down in price, but for most users, there's no real 8K content to watch, and it's probably still out of reach for most consumers in 2021. Finally, the OLEDs. Year-over-year improvements is marginal on these, but the biggest thing is the price going down over time. We don't quite know if it's going to be any different this year, but the image quality and the features on the OLED are excellent, and if you're interested in OLED for gaming or PC use, it may be worth waiting to see what comes from the smaller sized screens. So what do you think of the new 2021 models? Which models are you most excited for? Let us know what you think below. Also, we're currently hiring in our offices in Montreal for various positions, so if you want to help people find the best products for their needs, have a look at the careers page on our website. Also, if there are any 2021 models you want to see, be sure to visit our suggestion tool here and vote for the ones you want to see first. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.